Okay, so good afternoon everyone. Today I just thought we'd take a quick look at the crops. It's something I kind of do on a weekly basis, but it's been too wet to consider doing up to this. So just here we're standing in just a field of stubbles with volunteer barley. The field has a, I'll show you the discard later. We've disked with a little discard just to try and green it up a bit. This field, it was left over the winter so that you could put spring beans in it. You can't see it right now, but right there is more of our farm. There's another 80 acres over there. But anyway, so yeah, so between here and there's a field over there, we'll have a little over 30 acres of spring beans this year. Same as last year, and it's double of what it was the year before and the year before. Beans is only a break crop for us, and we don't grow massive amounts of it. So anyway, we'll take a look at some of the winter barley here. There was a ditch down along here at one stage, but my father took it out. Anyway, so the winter barley is looking fairly well. It has good plant counts, and you can see a little bit of damage there, but nothing too dramatic. A little bit of yellowing, meaning deficiencies. You can see where the crows tried to ruin our crops. And you can see here where I almost missed the tram line when I was spraying. I came around here and up. Anyway, all in all, it looks fairly decent. I have a friend with me today. It's Kiwi. Yeah, no, it doesn't look too bad at all. This was sown at 200 kilos to the hectare, which is just over 12.5 stone. So it's looking well. The variety is castings. I used a lot of castings this year, and probably accounted for about 70% of the winter barley seed I used. For the most part, it all went in at 200 kilos a hectare. We also used Valerie and Cassia. So, three fairly good varieties. For the wheat, we used Conross and Costello, and for the oats, it was just Isabel. There was a good few provisionally recommended varieties in it. Because the year I was in it, I didn't really get to keep a huge amount of home saved seed. Sorry, before the phone rang there, I was just saying that we usually keep home saved seed, but with the year that I was in it, it didn't happen. Dog is after finding a toy. So unfortunately I had to buy in all the seed this year. So it was a lot of provisionally recommended, so that I'd have a good selection of seed to choose from for next year to keep on until, so we harvested 2021 and I'll sow it and harvest it in 2022. Phone again. Okay, so anyway, this is just a Valerie. This is seed I had left over from 2019. So it went in at 240 kilos to hectare because, well, not that it wasn't costing me anything, but I was concerned about its germination. So anyway, it's Valerie. Quite impressed with it. Went in 25th of September. It was the first crop I sowed. It's looking good. So anyway, so I'll turn you off and we'll move to the next field of barley. Okay, so we're standing out here in a crop of winter barley. It's a 28 acre field here, and then there's another 2 acres there, or 2.5. It's cassia seed, so it is. Also went in at 200 kilos to the hectare. Turned out fairly well. Put a pre-emergence on it of Firebird and an aphicide on it. This is actually where the spraying video was made, this field and the one next door in there. You can see right here there's a bit of a lot of volunteer barley, and it's going to cause me grief come harvest. but that was where I didn't realise I turned, or that, anyway, a lot of seed came out anyway, out the back of it. The wheel was spinning, but the drill wasn't up high enough, so it was all just blowing out the back end of it. The way the one pass works is that when you lift it up, there's a sensor on the power how it tells it it's up, so that even though the wheel in the back is spinning, it tells the drill we're not actually moving to not put out seed. So anyway, ground is fairly wet still. I don't know if you can see right there, there's a big pond of water. I'll drive down and show you better, but and more water there. There's winter wheat there we're going to go down and have a look at. There's a spring barley ground with cover crops of barley, oats, beans, peas, and on the right hand side we have tillage radish, and on the left hand side we have mustard seed. So we'll go down and have a look and see what it's like. And the far field over there, it was the last field harvested, it just got too late, it wasn't worth sowing cover crops in it because it wouldn't grow. It wasn't worth tilling because it'd only kill whatever was there. So the most environmentally smart thing to do was leave it, unfortunately. But anyway, so we'll chat soon. Okay, so I'm just walking back across the field. Okay, so I'm just walking back across the field to get my lift down. But I just wanted to say that the cropping plan for this year is, well, not cropping plan, what we have for this year is we have winter wheat, winter oats, a lot of winter barley, a lot of spring barley, spring oats, spring beans, and spring oilseed rape. And the acreages do vary. Without a doubt, barley would be our largest crop, but going on the margins from last year, we have a lot more wheat this year, not than ever before, but than ever in my recollection, and we're probably going to have a lot more of it next year because of the amount of oilseed rape and beans. And then I'm probably going to take other ground and rotate it in through wheat, because the margin on wheat this year was fairly comfortable, so we'll see. Okay, so as you can see, the ground is in fairly poor condition, and that's why this field is always in spring barley. The birds seem to have taken off with near enough to all my peas, 99% of them anyway. Whatever little bit is left, I don't think they'll do much, which means there was a waste. Is that the tillage radish or the peas? I see it's the tillage radish. There is something growing. Yeah, that was a tillage radish and I'm after digging up, but anyway. So hopefully, before it's grazed, middle of January, and I would have much rather have left it here until harvest, or until ploughing time, but anyway. So bird cover over there, that'll hopefully be gone this year. The farm Jeep is in getting a service, so I had to bring the 36. One thing you will notice about me, if you follow or when you subscribe, is that I eat a lot of sweets. I have one of the biggest sweet tooths going. I am always eating, and it's not a good habit to have, but it's guaranteed that you'll probably pick up on it. So we're just driving along the farm roadway here, going to Burley. You can see just there where I almost got stuck with the sprayer. I have to reverse out and go around it. Still coming along the 40-acre field here. So it looks a lot healthier at this side. I'll stop here at the corner and show you. Okay. So straight off the bat, looking much healthier. You can see here the peas are growing fairly nicely. but we can't see radish or mustard seeds so far. We had a good population of peas here. So the peas are doing quite well. I'm quite happy with that, all things considered. You can just see them there. I'm not ecstatic about the establishment the way I went, and I've been trying to find a new way of doing it, because it's labour intensive. We have to spread out the beans or the peas and the oats with the fertilizer spreader, and then discarrow it in, and the discarrow sows the mustard seed. So if I could find some way of kind of having a drilling system, leaving it in the soil or on the soil, it'd be much better, and it'd be much harder for the birds to lay their hands on. I'm actually quite impressed by the amount of peas, because it didn't get a full rate. It got 7 stones to the acre of peas, like, and I wasn't expecting as many. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah. Okay. Just to clarify, when I say drill it in, I don't mean I want to discarrow it and then sow it in with one pass. I mean I'd like a zero-till system. I was trying to lay my hands on a very impressive looking Kernel and Moore grass drill, but that was, well, the cost of it takes the benefit out of all this, the cost of it. I was looking at weaving, they're trying to get their legs and fitted onto a Kernel hopper, but again, cost of that takes the good out of it. Geez, there's a big lot of peas right there. Like, it does, it takes the good all out of it. Like, I mean, cover crops are great, but if you're going to be paying 40,000 euros for a drill just to sow cover crops, you'll be far along to put dung on it, because the dung will has more that gives it a soil faster. Okay, so we're just going to get out here now once we get stop, and we're going to check one of my slug traps, because the bean ground is doing quite poorly. So like, my wheat is only barely there, and one of the agronomists thinks it's slugs and birds. Now, the birds have done cruel damage to it. I don't entirely understand how, but he thinks slugs could have been a big part. So, here we go. Okay, so we got a nice big juicy worm. I don't know if you can see that. We also have a leather jacket and 1 slug. 2 slugs, 3 slugs, 4, 5, 6, 6 slugs. Okay, right, I'm gonna leave it there for another couple of days. I'll come back and check. So that's 6 slugs in just under a week. I checked it Monday, I checked it Tuesday, and then Monday and Wednesday Wednesday and Thursday I didn't go to plan. As you can see, we have a lot of water lying around the place. Not sure, these are the joys. Okay, so we're at the other end of the field here now, heading over to another slug trap to have a look. Ground is still fairly sticky. The wheat is doing better in this side of the field, but it's not doing amazing. This is Conroff sowing at 200 kilos to the hectare. Okay. So the good news is there's only 2 slugs there, so hopefully that means we don't have a serious problem, but we'll speak to the agronomist and see what he recommends it being the maximum. Okay, so just while we're driving back to the yard here by the farm lanes, don't worry, because we're trying to be as much conservation agriculture as possible without actually switching to a zero-till drill, just simply because we had a bad experience with mint-till in this field here, actually, the big one. So we're trying to build organic matter and get our soil right. So that's why our rotation is such a big part of it. and we integrate so much our dung and cover crops to it, and slurry and anything with cover crops that we can, or anything with organic matter that we can. And so again, we'll try it again in a year's time. We every so often we kind of dip our toes in the water with it, and if it works, then we might try again next year. But every time we've tried it so far, it's kind of failed. I was planning on trying mint hill this year into bean ground, because the soil is so not fluffy but right, that it shouldn't be in a big deal. But unfortunately, the way the weather went, it got too late, and I wasn't willing to chance it. Like, not too late. The date that we would have done would have been the 15th of October, and at that stage I didn't want to chance it, because I wanted a fair trial, we'll call it. So anyway, we'll keep trying and keep seeing. We did try, a friend of mine tried sowing wheat very early with it, but the problem was that my wheat seed hadn't arrived yet, so we used wheat from 2019 and it didn't even grow. Like, there was a little bit of growth, there might have been 5% germination in it. He's after buying a Vaderstad Rapid, so we thought it might do something. But anyway, we'll keep trying, keep tipping away. That's probably going to be it for this video. I'm not going to bore you and bring you around to all the different fields. I added it up actually. I have it on the phone here. So for this year, 2021 harvest, we are 30% winter barley, 34% spring barley, 14% oats, 7.5% winter wheat, 9% spring oilseed rape, and 5.5% spring beans. See, it's kind of steep. Tractor's just struggling to get it, drop the traction. So anyway, so that's the story anyway. So we're 64% barley, but we're safe on the tree crop rule, because it's winter barley and spring barley are counted as two different crops, and because we have, what did I say, 7 different crops, we're definitely okay on the tree crop rule. So we're not doing too badly. Next year it'll probably end up being 20% winter barley, 20% winter wheat, and maybe 25% spring barley, but we'll see. I'm trying to take more ground out of spring crops, and just when you can reduce winter crops like we did this year to 1.5 or 2 sprays in places, winter barley is far more profitable than spring barley. And while everything isn't about profit, it certainly helps. So anyway, I'll sign off at that, and sure, we might see you next time.